What's happening, everyone? Welcome back for another trade video, and in this we start our trade challenge. So this week we have started our small account trade challenge. So now I have the next few weeks off, hopefully into the new year until February. So I'll be trading every day starting this week. So starting Tuesday, yesterday, I started trading every day. So I have my trades from yesterday and today to go over. So this is going to be a 2-day trade recap. Yesterday I ended up trading most of the day. Unfortunately, it was a red day. I didn't make any money. I lost a decent amount. It wasn't my biggest red day ever, but it was definitely kind of a crappy day for several reasons. I want to go over my trades from yesterday as well. Today is a green day. Back in the green, we made some nice trades today on DNK, and it's funny because this is one of the same stocks that I was red on yesterday. So before I go over the trade today, I want to go over the trade yesterday, and I want to go over all my trades from yesterday, and then I'll go over my trades from today. All right. So yesterday, it was one of those days where there was really nothing going on the gap scanner. Like, I mean, nothing. So before I traded this setup, there was another stock that I traded in, I can't remember the name of it. It was like CTIB. Pretty sure it was CTIB. So I took a trade in CTIB yesterday, and it was a loss, like a red trade, but it was a very small red trade. So this was like literally like I lost like $10 on this trade. Like, it was not a big loser at all. And it was basically one of those where, I bought this hoping it was gonna hit this volume weighted average price, hold it, and then go higher, which you can see it did. I simply just didn't have the ability to hold it through this consolidation. I kind of got faked out, and I just didn't feel confident in the way that the price action in the level 2 was showing me a lot of red here. So I felt like this was going to go down and break the volume weighted average price, and it could have been a big loss. So I just wanted to cut it before it was a big loss. Obviously, you can see if I would have just held, it would have been a decent winner. But unfortunately, I got out of that and I jumped into a different trade. And this might have been one of my problems yesterday, is that I kind of was not focused on one stock, because when you looked at the scanner, there was really nothing going on. Like, you can see this thing went up 10% from my entry price, but it also took over an hour for that to happen. So this consolidation was a long period of consolidation. It was not quick. It was very slow. It was very drawn on. And for me, it was kind of like, all right, this is, breakout or bailout. It's not breaking out, so I'm just going to bail out because if this breaks the volume weighted average price, it's going to drop a lot. Like you can see over here, as soon as it does break the volume weighted average price here at 258, it just skyrockets down. And that's what I wanted to try to avoid here. So that's why I didn't hold this any longer, and it was just basically a quick, you can see I held it for about 5 minutes. It didn't do what I wanted. It started to look like it was going lower, so then obviously it reversed with a bounce off the VWAP to give you a nice 10% move. But yeah, I didn't catch that. I lost on that trade. $10 loser, not a big deal. Anyway, on to DNK. So at this point of the day, I was kind of like, all right, there's nothing on the gap scanner. There's nothing really flying on momentum. So I'm basically at a situation where I might not, I might just finish the day down $10 and would have been fine. Basically a break-even day. But then DNK hit the scanner, and I missed the big move on it from basically over $2. So I missed the break of $2 here, and I saw it as soon as it was ripping up here, and it was started to run into this kind of consolidation area here, and I felt this could definitely go higher if it kind of broke down, consolidated around the volume weighted average price, and then went higher. As you can see, basically it almost immediately reversed and bounced off of the VWAP. I was waiting at the VWAP to see if it could hold above that level, then I would continue the trade. I would hold the trade until it either broke the volume weighted average price or gave me a nice run up. So you can see basically the second it broke the volume weighted average price and couldn't hold, I just got out. That was my stop loss, and I respected it. So it was, basically I was in at 237 and I was out at 214 so I lost on that trade. It was a decent winner. It was almost a 10% loss, so that was a decent winner. A decent loser. I wish it was a decent winner. Today it was a winner on the same stock, but yesterday, unfortunately, it was a loser. So that left me down, close to $100 on the day. I wasn't really that happy with myself. Although, some of these trades were not terrible. I should have kind of waited for the consolidation here before I got in. It was probably better to wait rather than to just take this trade, hoping for continuation. Obviously, it was still above the volume weighted average price when I took that trade, knowing that the volume weighted average price would be my stop. So I respected my stop, so that was a good trade on that side of things. But unfortunately, the other big thing to notice here was that you can see, although this was coming up on high green volume, the red volume started to take over once it kind of ran into these topping doji candles here. So these candles kind of signify indecision. So when this happened, you can see that there's clear resistance going into like the 250 area, which was probably not, this is probably not a great setup for me. This was basically just a trade where I saw it bumping up on the scanners. A lot of people were looking at it, almost a FOMO trade. Just not a great setup. It wasn't A+ stuff. It was certainly I certainly could have done better. But anyway, so that was what happened there. You live and you learn. You got to learn from these trades. Sometimes you got to take them so that you can learn from them in the future. But at the same time, when you see what this stock did today, you'll understand why this could have, roared up to $4, because there was no resistance above this level here, above this 250 level here. There's basically no resistance. So that's one of the reasons why you kind of want to hold to see if it can break through those levels, and then obviously continue higher, which it couldn't. So unfortunately, it was a loss. But anyway, going over to my next trade on the day was on Riot. So Riot here, it basically was one of those stocks where I felt it was going to be a short, mainly because I didn't see any big news on it. There was no like huge news explaining why it was up so much. So it was up like almost 80% on the day or something like that at this point. And I felt like there was some big resistance levels here right at the kind of volume weight, or right on this SMA. And then if it could go down and break the volume weighted average price, you could get a really nice short. So this was kind of one of those trades where it was a winner. It was a decent winner, a pretty nice winner. And if I would have just taken my profits, I would have ended up being okay. Unfortunately, I ended up holding this short, hoping that it would break the volume weighted average price, which it did not. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like buying or shorting above the volume weighted average price, is because that level becomes really big support. And you can clearly see here that I had the right idea on this trade. So I got in short here at 575, held for about 5 minutes, and it immediately ripped down all the way to, this candle basically flashed down to 518, or what was it, 531. So with a low of 531 there, and then basically an attempt to come back up, and then another failed to go down, this should have been my indicator right here to get out, because this bouncing green volume here was basically a sign that it was not, what's the word for it? It's not it's respecting these levels, and it's not going to break down lower because it's finding support here. And this is a good indication here in these candles. So I was kind of stubborn on this, and I think one of the main reasons why I was stubborn on this stock was because I was already down on the day. So because I was already in the negative, I kind of wanted to turn this small winner into a really big one. And because of that, I ended up taking a losing trade. Now, as you can see, Riot's down 10% today. So even if I would have just held to today from the level where I shorted it at, right now I'd be up, right? I'd be back at the levels where I wanted to see it break down towards, and it's down 10% on the day. So I had the right idea that this stock was kind of going to be a short, just I was too early. The best place to short it would have been up here at 750 in the aftermarket pre-market session, or even today if you would have came in and shorted it at say like 630, 640 up here, would have been a nice trade. But you could still, for me, one of the big things why I wanted to short this was because you could see it ran up quite a bit here, from like $3 all the way to over $6, and this kind of action usually comes with a catalyst, but there was no real news from the stock. The real news was like it's something about revenue, and a lot of blockchain stocks were moving, so it was kind of a lot of sympathy momentum. So anyway, that kind of was a bummer. It was another loss, not as big as the loss on DNK that day, yesterday, but it was still a loss. So I ended the day over $100 in the red. Wasn't a great day. Wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the greatest either. So let's go to the trades from today, and those trades were a lot better. Those trades, you can kind of see it was basically just a solid setup here right out of the gates. You saw it dip down and then give you an immediate break of the volume weighted average price. So this break of the volume weighted average price here, you can see that when it kind of came up, broke this level, ran into some resistance, came down, and then as soon as it hit this volume weighted average price here, you could see in this 1 minute pullback that it came down, tapped the volume weighted average price, and then came back up immediately. And this is where I became a buyer. So this candle, it popped down. There was at like 405, and I was waiting to get a nice fill in that level, in that area there, where it's close to 410, but then it kind of flushed back up, and it was like I saw 418, and I was like, oh crap. So I just hit the bid basically at 418, got in and filled with 200 shares, and then held for this move. Looked for a 10% move. Usually I'm looking for a 10% win, and then I'm out, because you'll find that resistance forms, and it's hard to hold these through big moves unless you can clearly see there's no resistance. So in this stock, I saw resistance at the $0.50 mark, and then again at 60 cents. So this candle here, it popped up to 61, I think it was, or 62, and it flushed back down to like 454 or 455. And in that level, I was like, all right, I should just I basically just hit my market sell, because typically when I'm going long, I will buy with a limit order and sell with a market order. That way I can just get out. Basically, the goal is get in quick and get out quicker. That's the kind of adage that most traders live by. You get in quick and you get out quicker, which is why the market order helps to sell your position once you've already gotten in, because it's basically an immediate execution at whatever the best price your broker can get you. And so if you're already up 10-12%, you just want to get out and not be stuck in like a big move down, right? So you can see I sold at 454, was a nice winner, almost 10% on the trade, and I could have held for a test of $5. As you see, it popped up here to $5, which would have been a nicer winner. But the other thing, with me is like you can always get back in. Just because you got out of a position doesn't mean you can't get back in. So when you make that decision there in that 1 minute candle, you don't know what these candles are going to do, right? Yeah, this popped up to another 50 cents, and that was nice. But then say you would have held for another 5 minutes, you would have lost everything. It's back down to 407, right? And it below the VWAP, and it's fading, right? So this is one of the reasons why you don't want to hold a trade into levels of resistance. So once you see it break these levels and then get up to a nice, if it hits your profit target, which for me is 10%, it hit it and then flushed back down. But I was happy enough, to take my profits so that it wasn't going to be a red trade or go against me and for me to lose, anymore. So I was happy to take that and then get back in if it did want to test, which it did. I should say, which I did. I got back in here, kind of looking at the VWAP as my level of support, So I got back in here at 472, hoping for a break back up to the $5 and then a break of 5 and a move higher. So this would have gave if it could have broken 5, we could have seen an immediate push up to 525, 530, 545, and it would have been a really nice trade. So I wanted to be prepared for that, but also be at a level that was close enough to a stop that I would not give back all my gains from the previous trade. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped out so quick, and why I was really hoping for breakout or bailout. And at that level, I was willing to take a quick stab at it. It didn't, so immediately I stopped out for a 4-cent loss. Wasn't nothing big. Again, that was like maybe a $10 loss. And after that, I was kind of looking at this for a short. Actually, I kind of was like, I could probably short this. After it, if it breaks down below the volume weighted average price, I would look at it as a short, right? So in this level here, I was actually looking at it as a short with a price around 425. So this level here, you can see this clear resistance lines forming here. And anytime it tries to break above this, it almost immediately breaks back down and can't hold that level. So I was looking to short it around this 425 level and basically hold it for the rest of the day. See what happens. Hopefully, because it broke down below the volume weighted average price, we start seeing some sell-offs. You can see these big spikes of red. And these candles, it's kind of predictable when you see them happening every, so often, and you can see these massive, sell-offs. Because if you look at the daily chart for this stock, it's basically a stock that has been beaten up like for the past year. Like this stock has gone from like $14, $15 to $1, right? And now it's shooting up back to $5. So that's one of the reasons why there's so much room for this stock to move, which is one of the reasons why I was taking the trades I was on it the day before, yesterday, trying to hope for these moves because of the fact that there was so much room for this stock to shoot up. And because, it's already lost probably 90% of its value in the past, however long, right? And because of that, you see that you want to be ready for these continuations or these moves up once it breaks resistance levels, and you can see moves higher. And you can see right now it's shooting down, right? So remember when I told you I wanted to short it at 425 so that when it broke down here and you see these big spikes of red volume which are predictable, well, we're seeing it here in real time. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to short this. Now I couldn't get fills, and just so you understand that I'm not just lying and saying I was trying to do that. You can see right here, order to reject DNK rejected at 423. So I was trying to short it at 423. Order was rejected because there was no shares for me to short. So unfortunately I couldn't short it, but I was going to short it at 423 with a move down towards 350. Probably I might have covered some in this area here after that flush, and then it would have been looking for a move lower. So that there was one of the short setups that you can kind of predict is this kind of stair-stepping levels down, breaking the volume weighted average price, and then not able to break above it. Obviously you can see here it did break above it for about a 4-minute period, but you can see these huge doji candles coming in because there's a huge level of resistance as soon as it breaks the volume weighted average price, and then as soon as it can't hold above it and it comes down, that's what you call a short setup. So this whole pattern here is about a half, an hour short setup, showing you that this people have lost confidence in it. Once it breaks above the volume weighted average price here, people have confidence, people want to get in, people want to trade it. But once it breaks below and can't hold above it, as you can see some of these levels here, you can get in on dips. So they'd call these buying the dips, when it dips down here and then people buy it for a break of the volume weighted average price. These are nice dip trades to get in, but at the same time, in the overall trend of the market, this stock's probably going to be a sell-off because it's already up over 100% in the past 2 days. So because of that, and because there's no real big catalyst on why it's up, like this stock basically had news about a comedy show or something like that. Like it's a Chinese company that It's basically a Chinese apartment company. I don't know why it's not opening my news feed. That's weird. Huh. It's not wanting to open my news feed. But anyway, so it's basically a Chinese holding company, and they own apartments. So they own complexes, and they rent out housing complexes. So they're obviously like a REIT. They're in the real estate business. So they had put out a thing about a comedy show that was successful, that was promoting kind of the community living and cheap kind of apartments that they promote, and kind of the kind of new, I don't know, almost like a hip hipster kind of living, like a comedy show called like the DNK, with like the DNK comedy show. I don't know anything about it. I was just kind of reading it, and it was kind of an interesting article, and I was like, this company's doing some weird things, but it sounds like they're a giant like community or apartment, sorry, I should say like apartment, renting apartments, but also like providing like office space, and also like apartments and dormitories and stuff like that. So that's their business. And as I said, the stock's down like almost 90% over the past, 6 months. Basically in this whole year, it's been beaten up. So that's one of the reasons why we were looking for this move higher from $1 when it was down at $1 the other couple days ago. Because if you go look at the chart, right, back down to Friday, and this thing is at $1.32. Yesterday it shoots up to almost $3. Today it breaks above that and shoots to almost $5, hits $5, and now it's reversing. But that's the big thing to understand, is that there's no catalyst for this move to move higher. There's no reason why this stock should be up 200%. It's basically, the reason it's doing this is because it's gone down so much in the past year that this is the move when it bounces. Because when these stocks hit levels of support or resistance, they bounce, and they provide these nice moves until they find resistance again. So that's one of the reasons why it could break these levels and then still shoot up, break $3 and then shoot up to $4 and then shoot up to $5, because there's no resistance till about like the $7 mark when you look back on the daily candles, going back months, right? So these levels are psychological levels, but they're also levels that other traders are watching. So when we see these things happening, we are willing to take advantage of these moves, right? Now, what you're seeing with this stock is, like I said, the run up, the bounce, but now you're seeing the fade again, because there was no real reason, there's no real catalyst for this to move higher. So this is one of the reasons why it's going to be a short now, in my opinion, for the rest of the day, and you're going to see a sell-off, probably back down towards 3, even 250, because going up 50 to 100% just because of some comedy show is even pretty crazy in itself, So I knew this wasn't going to hold these levels, which is why when you're day traders, you're not trying to hold these stocks for a long period of time. You're not trying to pray for them to go higher. You're trying to get in for the clear momentum, and you're trying to get out. And that's what I felt I did on this stock. And then when I tried to get in again and it couldn't, I stopped out for a quick loss, and didn't give back much of my gains from my nice cushion that I already gotten in the day. So that's that's pretty much it for this video. As I said, if you want to check on the progress of this stock, DNK, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a short for the rest of the day, and I was looking to short it at 423. So wherever it ends up, or wherever I would have been happy taking my profits, that would have been a nice trade already, but probably would have been holding it for another move down, because of that understanding that it's probably going to be a short to many traders that are looking at it. It's trading below the volume weighted average price. There's no real catalyst for why it's moved up so much in the past 2 days. It's already been a runner for 2 days. So now the buyers are all starting to step back, and the shorts are starting to get in, which is when you see these huge levels of red volume. You can see clearly that the volume is more in the short side than it is in the long side, right? And people that are buying these dips, trying to take advantage of this kind of huge sell-offs, is one of the reasons why you see it able to dip up but still then fade, because of the fact that it's not really, there's nothing really holding it up other than the people that are coming in to buy it for hoping for a quick move higher. But these are all day traders. They're not long-term investors, right? Because there's no catalyst for for this to move higher. It's not like an electric vehicle stock, which, you know, has, or something that people are anticipating. Obviously, it is a company that is doing things in China, but it is a Chinese stock, and a lot of times Chinese stocks, you know, do crazy things. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like to go crazy on these stocks. It's one of the reasons why after I longed it, I was looking to go short, because I'm like, look, I'm not biased based on the stock. I'm looking to trade it however the chart tells me to trade it. And that's why one of the reasons today why I'm green. It's also one of the reasons why yesterday I was red, because I wasn't listening to the chart. I was basically trading because I couldn't find anything to trade, so I was trying to make a trade happen, and that's not the way to go. But anyway, you live and you learn. You live to trade another day, and you survive until you thrive. These are all the words that, you know, all the advice that I've heard a million times, and that I'll repeat to you guys, so you guys can get some ideas on my mentality and why I trade the way I do, and why even after taking a red day yesterday, I can come back in today and be green and you know, be ready to go. But at the same time, you can't let, you know, red days hold you down. I know when I was first trading over a year ago, I was like, you know, every time I'd have a loss, I'd feel just devastated, and I'd feel like crap. And even yesterday, like, I didn't want to make a video, but at the same time I wanted to trade. I wanted to turn my, you know, losses into a green day, and I just couldn't do it. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, I didn't make a video yesterday, mainly because I was trading for so long that I was so exhausted. I was like, oh, I'm done, and I just wanted to go make dinner and, you know, relax, because I was basically trading right till 4 o'clock, which was crazy. And that's one of my other things too, is I don't like to spend the whole day trading. When you're shorting, sometimes you have to kind of pay attention most of the day, at least watching levels, as I was on DNK, just kind of watching it around the volume weighted average price, and if it can't hold above it and it starts to break below it, it's a short, and I should get in, which is what I tried. And like I said, it's still looking like a short, but you know, who knows. But I think I would have still been holding this to the downside if I was able to get filled, and I'd probably still be making money right now. But obviously I don't, when I'm going long, it's quick. It's literally like 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes at most, and then I'm out. And yesterday I kind of, when I was shorting, I should have taken my profits instead of letting it run back up. But when I was going long, I don't think there was really anything wrong, other than the fact that I wasn't waiting for consolidation. I was trying to buy, anticipating, and you do have to anticipate, but it's better to buy on the first pullback rather than buy at a level of consolidation. It's the same thing that happened here on DNK, right? Like, I bought the first level of consolidation, and it was a really nice trade. But then after the second trade here, I kind of was trying to anticipate the break of 5, whereas I should have just waited for the consolidation, and then as soon as I saw it break the volume weighted average price, I'm no longer interested in a long, and I'm now looking to short it. And that's kind of the way most traders think, and at least most traders that I've talked to, or, you know. So you can see here it's breaking down below those levels that it was holding a second ago, and it's going to start to break down towards 350 in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Come back for the next couple videos. I'm going to be making one every day for the next few weeks, hopefully into the new year, and then all through January. I will be trading every day, and I will be hopefully making some decent profit and sharing what I'm learning through this trading journey with you guys. Because I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. I'm basically just a guy that says, hey, this is interesting. I could do this. I like doing this. It excites me. I like watching charts all day. Sometimes I watch charts too much, and I'm like, damn, I should I should go do other things, because sometimes when you're watching charts all day, you kind of want to trade. But at the same time, sorry if my cat's getting loud in the background. She wants to go outside. She's like, let me out. I'm like, no, cat, it's snowing outside. It's a beautiful snowy day here in Canada. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, comment below. Please let me know what you want me to talk about in future videos, or anything you want me to cover. Any questions you have, please feel free to leave them below, and I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.